Let's look at mitosis in this tutorial. Mitosis is the process where a cell goes through division, and mitosis itself refers to the division of the nucleus in a cell to produce two new daughter cells, each with exactly the same number of chromosomes as the original parent cell. Mitosis is primarily used for things like growth of an organism in terms of cell division, so that you end up with more cells than you started with, for repair of tissues, so healing, and replacement of damaged or replacement of things like red blood cells that wear out. Let's work through an example of mitosis in a cell that has a hypothetical diploid number of 6 chromosomes. So the diploid number is 2n, that's how we refer to it, 2n equals 6. I've used yellow and blue as my colours for the chromosomes. These would represent the maternal and paternal sets of chromosomes. So there are homologous pairs here. So we'll call the yellow maternal, just for argument's sake, and we'll call the blue paternal. Not that it matters really in mitosis, this really only comes into play significantly during meiosis. So let's see how this would unfold. When the chromosomes first become visible at the beginning of mitosis, that is in prophase, they have already replicated, and they'll have replicated during the S phase of the cell cycle. So each chromosome now appears as a pair of chromatids joined by a centromere. So the centromere will be somewhere along the length of the chromosome. So this represents one chromatid, this represents a second chromatid. The whole structure is still a chromosome. So we can see that the amount of DNA has doubled during replication, but we still have only 6 chromosomes. So this is early prophase, while the nucleus is still visible and present. As we move through prophase, a number of things happen. Now, the other thing that we need to note here is that there is an organelle called a centriole in the cell, and the centriole itself will divide, and one centriole will go towards one end of the cell, and the other part of the centriole will go to the other end of the cell. So during late prophase, the nuclear membrane breaks down and spindle fibers form. So these are the spindle fibers, which form a structure called the spindle. So the whole thing is the spindle, and here we have our 2 centrioles that the spindle fibers are anchored on each end of the cell. In mitosis, each chromosome or pair of chromatids attaches to a different spindle fiber. So this one attaches to this spindle fiber, this one to this one attaches there, this one attaches there, this one attaches there, this one attaches there. So each chromosome attaches to a different spindle fiber. Then we move on to metaphase. So in metaphase, each of the chromosomes lines up down the equator, as they call it. That's the middle of the spindle. Then we move to anaphase. Now, during anaphase, you can see the rest of the cell starts to divide, so the cell starts to go through cytokinesis. Cytokinesis referring to the division of the rest of the cell, apart from the nucleus. And during anaphase, we will see the spindle fibers pull each of the chromatids back to its pole. Sorry, so I should have put blue at the top, not yellow. So that is correct now. So during anaphase, we see that the chromatids, or the centromere divides, and the chromatids now get pulled back to opposite ends of the cell. Alright, so this was one chromatid that was in that pair, and this is the other chromatid that was in that pair. So each of the chromatids gets pulled back to the opposite end of the cell. While this is happening, the cytoplasm starts to divide along with all the other organelles in the cell, like the mitochondria, ribosomes, etc. Finally, the full cell pinches in, so this will eventually divide, forming two new daughter cells in telophase. So during telophase, the nuclear membranes reform surrounding the cells, and we should end up with an identical set of chromosomes compared to the original parent cell. So they're identical to the parent cell. So this is telophase, the final stage of mitosis. So the nuclear membrane reforms. So we have two daughter cells, each with a diploid number of 6. So they're identical to the parent cell, each with 6 chromosomes. So this is one mitotic division. So one parent cell has become 2 daughter cells. Each of these daughter cells will then go through mitosis to produce 2 more daughter cells, and in this way growth occurs exponentially. So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, and so on.